Sarah. Hey, Sarah. Can you say welcome to the second episode of the People's Movie Podcast?
Do I have to? Are you videoing me?
Yes.
Welcome to the second episode of the People's Movies Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, non-binaries and all others in between, welcome to the People's Movies Podcast.
Da 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 da
here's
da
your host,
da da
Devin Bishop.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of the People's Movie Podcast.
Are you talking to me or them?
Them, honey.
Okay.
And here's my guest, Sarah Ha. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone.
Thanks for coming to our living room, honey.
True.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm going to be the most awkward interviewee, but let's go.
Oh, I know, honey. I've been trying to prepare, but I also realize I'm also very awkward.
You already know everything about me, so it's going to be weird reciting my life to you, but go ahead.
I mean, yeah, that was also why there was a big awkward. No, I don't want a black olive, honey.
Okay, cool.
So, what do you like to do, hon?
Like in my free time?
Just in general.
Well, when I'm not at work, I sleep a lot. Sleep is good.
True that.
I like to watch Netflix. Currently on a kick of watching stuff that I know is going to be garbage, but that I'll have fun making fun of. I like to paint. I like to write. Currently planning a baby shower. So I guess all of that's kind of my...
There's a lot of art stuff, a lot of different kinds of things.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, it's always fun. It's good to have hobbies. So you brought up your job, and so outside of that, what do you do at your job?
I'm a NICU nurse, neonatal ICU. So I work with sick babies, basically babies who are born premature, have heart defects, abdominal defects, are withdrawing from drugs, stuff like that. So that's what I do. It's not just rocking babies all night, though. Just so everyone knows.
Much complicated.
It's very hard. But I love it, and it's been my calling, and I got lucky enough to do it right out of nursing school, which not a lot of people get to do. So,
Neat.
there's
So,
that.
what do you enjoy most about that?
I guess, I mean, of course I enjoy the babies who are healthy enough for me to love and cuddle on them. And just, I don't know, give them that non-therapeutic or non-treatment touch that they don't necessarily always get from their parents because they are in a hospital setting. But then I also, the most rewarding part is seeing a baby who's been there for months get to go home with a loving family, whether it's their birth family or a foster family or whoever.
And it's like a joy to see them be able to walk or like leave with some people, not just
walk.
I mean, not walk, but
Yeah.
leave with people and not just stay there for like months.
Yes. Or pass away in the NICU.
Because that's sad.
That is sad. And it happened. So, I don't know. It's always rewarding to see them go home.
Don't choke on the black olives, honey.
You're going to edit out my cough so I joke on the black olives?
I might edit out all the black olive talk. Who knows?
I don't know. I think it'd be really funny.
How do you feel about people?
Just people in general?
This is the People's Movie Podcast. How do you feel about people? The idea, the people in general.
Just people. What do you mean, the idea?
Like people, like you see people just coming at you, or like you see people.
I'm about to cuss. I'm gonna sound like the biggest bitch, but I have always had social anxiety. So, like, people in general give me anxiety. But I don't know, I'm going to link this back to nursing. Being a nurse, you have to be able to have that nurturing feel towards all people, because even though I work with babies, I obviously work with their families and blah, blah, blah. So I also respect all people too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's kind of a double-edged sword with me because I don't like people, but I also really love and respect people. I want to know about their backgrounds and their cultures and all of that.
So you're more of like, you care about the person and not like, just like, you'd rather have the person instead of just a whole group of people.
Yes. Like if I could do more of a small gathering of people and learn about them and not be in a large social setting, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's
Is that
understandable.
what you meant?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just like crowds is the issue of the people you don't enjoy.
And just people I don't know yet. I mean, once I get to know people, they don't scare me, but most people are intimidating.
How do you feel about your past to now?
The difference or the journey or
More of the journey, really.
Well, anyone who knows me knows that I grew up with not a whole lot. My parents always worked their asses off for everything that we had. And that instilled in me this need to be a hardworking individual. And then it also gave me that drive, that and the fact that my passion has always been nursing, gave me the drive that I needed to go through the hell that was nursing school and become who I am now. So it's been an uphill battle, but I mean, ultimately I've achieved almost all of my dreams already, and I'm only 22 years old, so
Mm-hmm.
I would say even though it's been rough, it's been good,
Just like
I guess.
worth climbing the hill and not just sputtering.
Yeah.
And so before we get into our first real segment with movies and such, how do you feel about this? As a layman, not a lot of people get interviewed and dive deep into their life. How do you feel about the whole, just this process in general?
About being interviewed?
About being in a layman's sense. Like, how do you feel about this?
How do I feel right now about what's happening?
Yes.
To me?
Yes.
I don't know, it's kind of awkward, but I think it's just awkward because I know you know everything about me.
Mm-hmm.
So telling you things is weird, and I have to keep reminding myself that other people will listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
I also am not keen on being recorded, or I didn't used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a little bit of anxiety about that, but this is way better than being in front of a crowd of people. Obviously, I don't like that. We've covered that. It's fun. I'm excited to watch a movie and shit on
That'll be much later.
it. I'm still excited though.
But now we're getting into the real nitty gritty with segments. The first things first we're talking about is, what's your favorite movie, honey?
Ever?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not gonna say ever,
Mm-hmm.
because my favorite movie is super fluid. Like, it changes all the time. But currently, it's Marriage Story.
Why is that, then?
Oh God. Number one, Adam Driver is the most underrated, overly talented, well-rounded actor that's in the business right at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And he's wonderful. Scarlett Johansson is also wonderful. Noah also is wonderful. Basically, I don't know, I just love it. I like the fact that they put together a movie that can show that even though you still love someone, sometimes love isn't unconditional and it can get murky and things get in the way. And even through all of the hell that they go through in their divorce, in the end, you can tell that they still love and care about each other. They still come to a good compromise, and like their son is still their main focus. I don't know, it's just beautiful. Emotionally, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good movie. Super well written, very well directed. Both of them have monologues that make me want to fall apart in tears. I don't know. I guess just the way it moves you in general.
So it's like a whole like emotional package, and not just like it's more than just the characters and the story. It's just like a package.
It's the way it makes you feel too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like a whole package of emotions, and not just I love it because the plot or this and that. So you said
Or
oh god, don't die during a podcast.
I'm gonna stop eating the black olives now.
A quarter of this is gonna be black olive talk.
I know. You should keep it in though. It's really funny. Okay.
So you said it was fluid. What made you have that be it right now?
Like, why is it my favorite movie right now?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've watched a lot of movies in the past year or so. I think it's one of the only ones that I don't want to say connected with, because obviously I've never been through a divorce, but I feel like all of us have felt some kind of like heartbreak, or finding out that someone we thought we loved or even did love wasn't what we needed or what we were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool, because then we find our Devin, but it's whatever. I don't know. I feel like it's just all of those things that I said were my favorite about it. They just all come together, and they're the way it makes me feel, I guess. I don't know. I don't generally, well, no, I guess this is a lie now, but I didn't used to generally like movies that made me cry or made me feel things, because I don't like to cry, or I didn't used to. But now I kind of realize that if a movie is so good that it's moving me emotionally, then it's a good movie.
So it's like part of your like own journey. It's yourself with like movies. This one was just like at a good point in your life.
I guess. Plus, it's just the best movie we saw in all of last year. And so far this year. Because we watched garbage this year.
That's not true.
We watched Bronze. Garbage, but anyway.
Well, since you're bringing up the word garbage, we're moving to the second segment. We're talking about something that you're just going to love talking about.
I'm going to love it.
What's your least favorite movie? Like, what's the worst?
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. Horse Girl was god awful.
So, Horse Girl is your worst movie?
Yeah. By far, probably the most worst movie I've ever seen. That was bad grammar. Sorry about it. Unless I'm just forgetting some god awful movie from my past that I've seen and just forgotten about, Horse Girl is the worst movie I've ever seen. That movie was just so scattered, and her acting wasn't even very good. I feel like it didn't even have a plot. It was just everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It was, God, that movie was just awful. It wasn't even visually appealing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a bad movie.
So it's just like to you, it's like a whole like a fiery, like just nothing really meshed well.
Yeah, it's just like it's just like a puddle of gunk.
puddle.
Like, everything's there. They threw everything in there, and we're like, here, it's a movie. And then just kept throwing gunk in the puddle, but it didn't have a direction. It didn't even have good cinematography. It just wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
It was really stupid.
And so this is like something that you just stumbled and was like, well, see how it goes.
Yeah, we just up and decided to watch it one night, and that one was bad. To be fair, we went into it thinking it was going to be a weird horror movie. No, I thought she was going to have some weird superpowers, kind of be like psychic or something, which I don't even think she turned out being psychic. Well, yeah, she saw the future or some shit. Anyway, it was bad. It was bad.
Horse Girl.
Horse Girl was bad.
And now, on to the last segment. We're talking about what is rather some or a theater experience, if you've ever had one, that is just most memorable to you.
Can it be bad memorable?
Yes. I said in the pilot a good and a bad, but if you only have a bad, that also works as well.
I probably have a good, but I would have to think about that harder. This one's just stuck in my brain because I'm really pissed off about it and it's never going to go away. The Rise of Skywalker was a horrible movie experience. Everyone in the theater hated it. I was totally in with them on that because it was god-awful. They took everything I've loved about Star Wars for most of my life and just effed it all up. So that was a really bad theater experience.
So was it just the film itself and not just like the atmosphere, just making it also worse around you?
I was vibing with the atmosphere because everyone else was hating it. So like me and the dudes in front of me, we were all like, God, this is awful. And then, of course, when they made Rey and Kylo kiss, well, I guess he was Ben then. He was Ben then. But when they made them kiss, we were all like, this is so stupid. So, I don't know. The atmosphere was kind of okay, but the movie itself was bad.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I have a bad atmosphere experience.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, yeah, I do. This was a long time ago. But if you're wanting an atmosphere experience, I don't even remember what the movie was. I don't even remember who I was with. But I probably don't remember it because of this. There was a couple in front of me. I was maybe 16, 17 years old. This couple was like 11 and 12. Like they were babies. And they were making out, like loudly making out. I could hear noises of it, and I was like, I ain't having this. So I'm probably the villain in the situation. But I literally like reached up because they were right in front of me and pushed their faces apart.
Oh my God.
And I said, "You are children," and made them stop.
And you don't even remember what the movie was?
I don't even remember
anything?
the movie because I was so pissed off with the children. I don't even remember who I was with. I think I was with a friend. It may have been when I saw like I Am Number 4, that one Will Smith movie with Jaden Smith also.
After Earth?
Yeah, it may have been that one.
Ew.
Yeah, I mean the movie probably wasn't good either way, but I wanted to watch it. So there's a bad atmosphere experience.
And you said you needed a bit to think about. Do you have anything good or like iconic?
Okay, yes, you don't agree with this one, but when my sister Shelby and I went to see Rogue One, that was a beautiful theater experience for us. We were in this tiny theater in Newport, where it's the theater that we grew up in. And it's tiny. It has 4 theaters in it, and all of the theaters were very small, but we went in it and we saw Rogue One, and we saw it the day after Carrie Fisher had passed away. And Carrie Fisher has been a huge influence in both of our lives because we've known Star Wars forever. Shelby dressed up as Queen Amidala for Halloween when we were younger. Like, it's always been a thing. And I know the CGI it wasn't her and everything, but still, when they had their version of young Leia walk up, Shelby and I just lost it. But it was like this bittersweet getting to see her face. like this sweet kind of posthumous.
Like almost like goodbye kind of thing.
Almost, yeah. So that was a really good theater experience for me and Shelby.
Mm-hmm. To discuss the film of the episode. So, Sarah, why did we pick this movie? Personally, for you.
More than because you thought I would hate it?
I mean, I guess.
Because I'm really attached to the old Mary Poppins. I grew up with that movie. I loved it. I'm in love with Dick Van Dyke and always have been. And I hated that they were making a new one, so you wanted to force me to watch it.
It's more of a personal disgust for this movie than everyone around us just hating it.
Yeah.
So, first of all, spoilers. Going ahead and saying that. Lots of spoilers. So, my probably only question for you, hun, is that, so what's this movie about?
Oh my god. So apparently, Michael didn't learn his damn lesson the first time that Mary Poppins came around, and he had to have Mary Poppins again, which doesn't make any fucking sense. Oh. Can I cuss?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, cool. Anyway, Michael's gonna lose the house.
He took out a loan?
He took out a loan against the house because he was behind on everything, and then he didn't pay the loan back. And then Mary Poppins shows up, but not even for the kids, because like he has a good relationship with his kids, which is, But she shows up, I guess, to help Michael,
Which is
under the pretense of being with the kids.
what she does. That's what she's doing in the first movie, though.
Well, yeah, it's just a fucking remake. It's literally it's the same thing. They ripped off so much.
We'll get to there, honey. So, what was your big first note? We'll just jump to our notes real quick.
Okay. Well, I already said my first line is Michael shouldn't need her again. He should have learned the first time around. Also, they chose the worst of the two children to actually make this movie about, because as much as I love the original Mary Poppins, Michael was stupid. He was a bad actor. I mean, his character was fine, I guess. It was just so overshadowed by the child actor. But, yeah. I think it would have been more interesting if it had been Jane.
I think so, because she seemed more in tune with what Mary was trying to do in the first one.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they didn't want to show the girl that became kind of what her mom wanted for some reason.
Yeah. Which would have been so cool. Her mom fought for suffrage. Jane is this, like, strong businesswoman doing, like,
Union
good stuff. But no, let's focus on Michael, the one who apparently had a crashed art career, and now he's a bank teller.
And then, I guess with that, they focused the strong woman with a relationship.
Yeah.
Which was weird.
Yeah.
Unnecessarily weird.
Really stupid. Really stupid. Give us a good, strong woman character. Don't even make her the main freaking character. And then set her up with a poorly singing, not a chimney sweep, but basically they ripped off the whole chimney sweep idea. But anyway, continue. Lamplighter, that's what he is.
Lumineux? What did they say?
I don't know what they called them.
They had a made up language, so to be fair.
Yeah.
My first note was, it looks very fake.
Very true. It does look like a shitty fake set.
Like, there was so much that I was like, why?
Yep.
Like, the house itself that they were acting in and all the houses they went to looked good. But then when they were outside or like in a...
The outside set looks so fake.
Yeah.
It's like they killed Cherry Tree Lane. They made it look like shit.
I guess I'll go and bring this note up. I thought the costumes were really good. As a positive, the costumes were so pretty.
I actually agree with that. I liked their use of color. Though in that time period, I don't know that the colors would have been that bright. So it may not have been, like, true to then. But I liked the use of color in the idea of Mary Poppins.
Mm-hmm.
also in the original, it's very colorful.
Like
I don't
an
know,
old
more
timey
like a
feel.
childlike innocence,
Mhm.
adding more color to things like that.
It's not just like normal clothing. It's
Yeah.
more like this is their characters with their clothes.
Yeah. I remember Michael's outfit in the last scene I thought was super cute.
Oh yeah, with the hat.
He had a hat and he had like a bright blue suit on or something. It was really cute.
Costume
I agree
designers.
with that. That was good.
What's your next note, hon?
Well, at the time I didn't know who the actor was. But I said I do not like New Bert's voice, but it may just be the song, we'll see. So, to follow that up, Lin-Manuel Miranda's voice is fine. He is a good singer, and I know that from other things. But if this had been the only thing that I had ever heard his voice from, oh my god, I would not like it.
Yeah,
Because he's given awful, awful songs.
those notes.
Those weird slide notes in that first song, like, what the frick? That's awful. Don't do that to a singer.
It's like almost rappy, but not really. Very weird. I'll be a little bit more positive. They kept the houseboat.
That was pretty cool.
I was oddly very happy about it because it's a very old.
The ship thing.
Yeah, like they didn't really have to leave that in because it wasn't a necessary thing from the original. But it was just a nice little touch, I think.
Yeah. One of the few things that they brought back from the original and did well.
It wasn't just shoehorned in. It was like, look,
Yeah.
it's just there, like in their original. It's on my houseboat.
Can we continue?
Sure. I have more. I could bring up another note if you want to switch
Do
it
you
up.
want me to bring up my notes? I don't.
Well, I'll say another one. And the opening credits were very odd.
I hated them. I hated that they had New Bert. God, what was his name in this one? I don't even know.
Jack?
Jack?
I think it was Jack.
New Bert knockoff. They had New Bert knockoff sing a song. Then they went to the credits and did the medley, which is not correct. That's not how you do it. I don't enjoy that.
Especially for a musical opening.
Yeah, I guess that's really personal preference, but like I want to hear the medley and the credits before I get into a character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That's
I got grumpy about that.
It's a very like go-to musical theater thing. It's like you don't open up with someone singing.
You open with your medley.
Unless you're doing like an opening monologue, which that's like a very art house theater to do, not.
And maybe I wouldn't mind it as much if the song that they had him sing wasn't so bad. Because it's the one that had those really ridiculous slide notes in it that made his voice just sound so untrained and crappy. I have one note about the opening credits. Someone who I didn't know was in it, his name popped up. And so my note just says, Meryl?
Oh. Well, you want to wait to talk about her, honey?
Oh yeah, we'll hold that.
Okay. That's going to be a whole last thing.
Some tea.
So, I'm going to bring up the idea of focusing on the adults again. I just thought that was, although it made sense that the actual plot of the first one was the children to help the adult.
Mm-hmm.
This one was less about that and more like having the children accidentally help the adult.
Yeah, it seemed a lot less intentional.
And like forcing the kids to do it on their own for some reason in some of it.
Yeah. I don't know, it just seems so much less intentional. I think that falls back to the way Mary Poppins seems in it because she doesn't seem intentional with what she's doing with the kids in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they didn't do Mary Poppins right at all.
Mm-hmm.
Her character's not right. It doesn't come through correctly. Which is not good. Not good. She's rude. She overuses spit spot. She says it every 5 freaking seconds.
She goes, spit spot. And then goes
2
to another
seconds later,
scene.
spit spot. Like, no.
It's less of a phrase, really, more of a scene transition than this.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just chalked up to lazy writing.
Mm-hmm.
I have one good note that I wrote.
Oh, you have a positive?
One. The actress who played Jane in this one was a good cast, physically, because she looks so much like the child actor who played Jane.
Oh, really? Yeah. They did do her well. I didn't ever think of that.
And she honestly is probably, she and Michael, the actors, I don't know their name, the actress and actor who played Jane and Michael were really the best actors of the whole movie. Other than when you see Dick Van Dyke. But I think Jane and Michael had the best.
They had a lot more, I think,
They
to do
were
as
better. Yeah. I don't think the child actors were good. I don't think Emily Blunt did a good job. I think Lin-Manuel Miranda didn't have a whole lot to work with.
well. I wrote something about horrific kite. I don't remember why.
Horrific?
Yeah. Like he threw the kite away or something. Oh, I remember why I wrote that. It was after I was really into the second song.
Michael's song?
Yeah.
You liked it?
Yeah. About his wife.
Yeah, since you went away.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was done really lovely, especially with like it was more visual than how musicals usually do because he actually like picked things up and look around. It wasn't just almost sit in a chair, mopey. Because a lot of musicals don't really do visuals very well because they're like, oh, people are far away. Yeah. Like I
agree with all that.
I felt a lot more in his song, I guess, than normal musicals.
I agree with that. What I wrote was very emotional, but would have been better if it wasn't half spoken. I didn't like how he went in and out of singing and speaking in that song. I think it took away from the emotion of it. I don't know. I thought it was a very pretty song, and just like lyrically, it just would have been prettier
if it was less
melodically if it were actually sung.
Less Hamilton.
I don't really know any songs from him.
Well, a lot of, I think from what I've heard, some of the songs are like
half spoken, half sung.
Because it's a spoken rap musical.
Like that. I don't like that. This song could have been so touching and emotional, and I think they lost so much of that in doing it that way. Which I mean is just personal preference for me, I guess.
But I think of all the songs in the actual movie, that was the best song.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I think mainly because we'll touch on this later, but it's the only one that was not structurally in the original movie. Because there's not a song like that in the original.
Yeah. It's the only one that wasn't a total ripoff, I agree.
I remember we liked the callbacks were kind of funny that they did in the beginning.
What?
Some of the callbacks were kind of funny.
What do you mean by callbacks?
Well, there was like they would just find a random thing and go, "Why do we even still have this?" And then put it back down.
That was cute. I did like that.
Because it went beyond just having the kite.
Yes,
it was
they
the
had
snow
the snow globe
and
everything. Okay, that was kind of cute.
Because it was a quick thing.
Like
it wasn't
2 scenes in.
Yeah, it was quick. I think if they were on it,
it was. They didn't dwell on it. It was just kind of like a little Easter egg and then done.
You have anything?
Well, my notes go into when Mary shows up at this point.
Same. I think Emily Blunt sings really good.
You think she sings well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't write anything about her voice or her vocal talent, probably because I was overshadowed by
the odd acting direction.
How weird it is and how poorly she's portraying Mary Poppins. She's too rude. I don't know, she just doesn't have the right tone about it.
Mm-hmm.
She's too rude. She's a little too, cocky.
I'd throw that more and less on to her and more on the
writing.
Writing and direction. Because I was seeing that happen a lot. I was like, Emily Blunt's so nice.
Yeah, but this character was bad. It was not well written.
It was like she's trying to be what she would imagine a mean nanny would be.
Yeah, and
But
Mary
she's-
Poppins was not a mean nanny. She was stern, but she was never rude.
Oh, and then she also came in on a kite.
Yeah, that too.
That one I just wanted to bring because you did not enjoy that.
I did not enjoy that. She floats in on a cloud, okay? I don't know. The kite, I guess, was an okay touch because it did end Mary Poppins' stay with the family the first time, and then it brings Mary Poppins' stay back in the second time. So I guess it was fine. I just think it's stupid that Mary Poppins is back, but whatever. Then we get the bathtub scene.
Ooh. I was kind of in and out on that part. I was like, this is kind of a bit much for the first big song. And the dolphins, I thought, looked pretty bad.
Pretty bad. They were awful. They were awful.
Yeah.
Like Shark Night level awful. But in Mary Poppins. And they didn't even make it pretty. Like, it wasn't a pretty underwater scene. You can do some of it. Some of it was okay. The reefs and stuff was kind of okay.
But then they went to the surface, it was like,
Yeah, the surface was ugly. It's like they couldn't decide if they wanted to try realism or...
super cartoony.
Yeah. I don't know. I just didn't like that scene. It was way too much for the children's introduction to Mary Poppins. Like, way too much. That's why in the first introduction, they have to, like, her, it's not magic, but her is, like, tidying the house. And they don't do that until after this weird, crazy, insane bath scene.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
Or especially for them to be like, oh, you want to believe? Here you go. Have all of it.
Yeah, I mean,
all of it.
I don't know. These kids know what LSD is because I'm pretty sure they just think they were drugged.
I think after that is when we get introduced to Colin Firth, the bank guy. Yep, the villain. They really didn't need that.
That's hard.
I just think Mary Poppins really didn't need a villain because it's more like a theme about family and like connecting and everything. It just kind of comes back to like I have two other notes that kind of connect with this is that the movie's not random enough and there's less writing the plot with Mary in it and more of her just pushing it forward. So it's less being like passive protagonists after they're trying to like have things just happen and it's more like, well, I guess we gotta go do this thing now. And then they go do this thing.
Very true. I agree. So I had written down about how Mary in this one is too, like, showy. Like, she instigates a lot of stuff in this one, where in the old one, it was not like that.
Other
The
people were
kids-
instigating her.
Yes, the kids and Bert would be like, hey, let's do this. Can we do this? And she would, like, very, very passively be like, well, okay then. And then they would go do something really cool. But, like, in this one, it's like she's just
She's down for
pushing it.
everything.
Yes. And then, like, she's super, again, she's, like, super cocky and showy whenever they do that one really stupid scene in the circus. I don't know, like, the way she gets up on stage, she's just too showy. That's not what Mary Poppins was like. It was bad. But back to the fucking villain. Stupid. It's stupid. We don't need a villain. Okay, listen. The whole idea of Mary Poppins, the first one, is growing up and losing your imagination / kind of a loss of innocence deal here. That's your antagonist. Is like losing that innocence, disconnecting that. You don't need a villain. You don't need a villain. Real life is the villain, not a person, not a stupid person at the bank. This is stupid.
And it was like in the original was about the system that's like controlling like money and everything.
Yeah.
Like, we can just fire you just because you don't want to give us your money.
Yeah. And not just like one dude
And then a nice one comes in and goes, "Oh, here's your money
Yeah.
to the banks or something."
No, I don't know. It was just stupid. That's not what Mary Poppins is about.
You ready to go into is it the third song? And the one when they go into the pot, or is it a vase?
What?
When they go in the vase.
No, you know what's before that? No, maybe it's after that. Oh no, it's after that. Okay, yeah, you're right. I already griped about the circus. It's dumb.
I just don't. I discussed this a little bit earlier, but like, it's the two creators of this musical put their touches in it too much. Super poppy for no reason.
Which makes it feel really disconnected from
The time period.
everything else, yeah.
And it's like Hamilton-y, but it's also like Chicago-y, because they did like the chair
I feel that. Yeah.
and like kicks and stuff, because the director made an adaptation of that into a movie. And the penguins talk in this.
Yeah.
They don't talk.
Do they not talk anymore?
I don't. Listen, that threw me for a loop watching her and the penguins talk in this. I didn't think they did. I thought they just went like silent and were just nodding.
I cannot recall. I thought the penguins talked in the first one.
Do they?
I'm not sure.
I didn't think they did. I'm gonna put my foot down and say that they didn't. And they talked in this and it was weird.
Also, bringing the penguins back, okay, we talked earlier about a good Easter egg. This was stupid. It was like, you're just putting something in for nostalgia reasons. It doesn't need to be there, but also they're just totally ripping off this same scene in the chalk paintings with Bert in the first one. It's the exact same thing.
Because after Michael's song, the whole movie just follows the exact same song pattern as the first one. They go that, and then the uncle song, and then she does a slow song, which is not even good at all compared to
it's not.
Feed the Birds.
Feed the Birds, yeah.
Oh, Feed the Birds.
Beautiful. Basically, they just ripped off the whole last movie.
I didn't even love the first half of Mary Poppins. I thought it was okay, but then the second half I thought was great because of the songs and everything and how deep they were going. This one never went like
that deep.
No, it just felt so surface for some reason.
Yeah, it was like, oh, dead mom, sad song, and that was it.
With the villain stuff one more time, with before we really jump into the song, I think because we were very confused about the circus villain.
Why they put the villain in the animated? There's not supposed to be villains in Happy Mary Poppins world. Sorry about it.
But a lot of Mary Poppins is based off the imagination of the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I read it and thought about it a while as like that was happening. I was thinking that could have been their subconscious.
But they don't know anything about this man at the bank.
They don't. That's what makes it a little weird. But unlike the first Mary Poppins, where the kids were actually like happy all the time, this one they're like
clueless.
Yeah. This one they're actually like, oh, our dad's in danger.
I get that, but then like they're in Happy Poppins land.
Yeah, that's also true. I think, for the benefit of the doubt, I think the imagination with their subconscious made a little sense.
Yeah.
Just because they're more worried compared to the first kids. But I still don't love that there's a villain in it, like at all.
Yeah.
Are you ready, hon?
Oh, I have one more thing about the circus song. Sorry, I wasn't reading this. That whole song, that whole dumb ass song, was just telling people to read.
It was about them wanting people to read?
The whole song was about reading. Well, also by don't judge a book by its cover, but
read a book.
It sounded like just read. Most of the song was just read.
read this book, read that book, do this, do that. It
Yeah.
wasn't just read a book, maybe.
And it was like, don't judge a book by its cover, which I guess they were trying to be deep with that, but that's still very surface level compared to how deep the old Mary Poppins goes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyway, continue.
No, honey, I think you should bring it up. Meryl Streep.
My love for Meryl runs so deep. I love her so much. And she's such a wonderful actress and performer.
She really goes for her parts.
Meryl Streep did well. None of it was her fault. But her song was so bad. Her character was so bad. The whole scene was so bad. It made no sense.
It felt
It
like
was
it went
so
on
stupid.
so long.
It went on forever.
Like
That scene was like 4 days long.
the laughing uncle one in the first one
was just a
was
quick
little-
little ha-ha thing. Yeah.
This one was like, oh, they're really using the time that they got Meryl to be in this movie.
Yeah. It's also, again, just a complete ripoff of the song with the uncle in the first one. They're just lazy writers. They're lazy writers. I guess they thought that if they just made this over-the-top character...
Named Topsy-Turvy. Which I kind of wish, like, after looking online, they actually did what the book was. Because there's actually a second one. But in the book, it's a guy, and they wish he was a girl. And they never touch on that.
It's a guy who wishes he was a girl?
It was a guy, but they wish that they had his parents wished he was a girl because she wanted a girl.
Disney's not going to touch that.
I know,
Gender identity? What?
that would have been so good.
We just make evil bankers up in here.
But there's also nice bankers.
And then redeem ourselves with the one nice one. Yep.
Also, this came up a little bit at this point in the movie. There's too much cane.
Cane?
Umbrella. Too much umbrella.
There is too much umbrella. He's not supposed to talk that much.
It was really like funny and cool when he was doing it a bit when it was just her.
Yeah.
In the umbrella, but then he just kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the worst song in the whole movie. Awful.
I don't know, the next one parallels it pretty much. I hated the next one too.
Had the chimney sweeper song.
Yeah, basically. They're just letting me talk about,
Yes.
Okay, I'm really mad. Okay, so growing up, Step in Time was one of my favorite things. I loved watching Dick Van Dyke do that dance. That entire scene. It was so good. It was classy.
It was goofy
It was
enough.
grungy. It was a good mix of everything, and it was wonderful. And obviously the writers of this new shit knew that it was a good mix of everything and it was wonderful because they absolutely tried to rip it off. But they didn't do well. This one is not as good. The choreography is nowhere near.
Oh my gosh, the
as
choreography seems so weak for some reason.
It was.
And it's a modern movie, so you'd think it's like they go above, but it was like bikes.
Yeah, it was super
Like
weird
DMX
and detached. It was just not good. It was not good. And then also it's just that's lazy. All of this is chopped up to lazy writing because it's freaking lazy. Just be original.
Like they could have done a song with Jack, but it not be like literally
a total rip-off of Step in Time. They did the silhouettes. They did basically the walking on the ceilings. Like, they did all of it.
Yeah. And it felt oddly less magical.
Interesting? Yeah.
Because, like, the chimney part was super, like, oh, it's whoop. And you went to a different world. You went through they left a smog.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, we're in a different spot now. I'm like, what? For some reason, I wrote children are still horrifying. So I think there was a part where the children smiled weird, and I thought they were horrifying.
Okay, so one of my notes just says, these children annoy me. That's my whole note.
Apparently I got scared again of children.
They were kind of weird. Scary.
And then one of my last notes is action set piece at the end with the ladders. Because you know what we need at the end of a musical? An action set piece. Trying to beat the time.
Oh, God. Yeah, that too. So stupid. Oh my God, and them coming, why, you're talking about them climbing Big Ben?
Mm-hmm.
So stupid. Mary Poppins can fly. She can fly. Why is she standing there and letting them kill themselves on ladders going up Big Ben? So stupid. So stupid.
You know what could have been better done? Because I don't think they sing at this part, do they?
I don't think so.
They could have added the song involving the light guy
Uh-huh.
and have it be that instead of the big choreography thing.
True.
Cut some of the time.
Of them climbing up Big Ben and sing while they're climbing?
Yeah.
True, but then it's also still stupid that they're climbing because Mary can fly.
I mean, yeah. But I would have a better reason for so much time to be put into Big Ben
Yeah.
and less time with them doing BMX stuff.
Yeah. Agree.
Like they were trying to be more real, but also it was like, you don't need to be, because
It's Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins' kids flew into a chimney.
It was so bad. That whole scene was stupid, though.
Before we get to the very end, there was a lot of side character stuff to me. Like, too much side character stuff happening. Like, Jack getting the girl, and then there was the two, like the black banker and the kind of big banker
Yeah.
doing stuff, and
I
then,
think they were just like collectors. Were they bankers?
yeah, they worked for the banks, I presume, they were bankers. But there was like just so many random characters that were like trying to do focus on. I'm like, no, just have focus
It's like
on Mary.
it's supposed
and the
to
kids.
be about a family unit. That's what it is. But no. All this time. We kind of grazed over this. Jack and Jane. Again, I'm angry about that. Continue.
Yeah, they don't need to be in a relationship.
And Mary Poppins like pushes them together, which is really weird.
He's a nanny, not a hey Jack, you should go bone Jane.
Yeah, basically. But also, again, strong female character that Jane's mother would be so proud of. But obviously she needs a man.
I mean, if she doesn't have a man, like where's she going?
Yep.
Then we have the very end with the kite.
Hold on, there's one in between this.
Oh,
Michael has a heart-to-heart with
that.
his kids at some point.
Oh, when he cries,
Yes.
it was just
Yes.
him monologuing and.
Yes, that was a beautiful scene. I actually enjoyed that one. But it's because the actor who played Michael was really good.
Michael,
He was a very good actor. And, like, obviously he wasn't working with a lot.
But like,
because it's garbage.
He was able to do like a stutter for it.
Yes, he did that scene really well. And, like, it was actually a really endearing scene with him and his kiddos.
Was it just Ben
And it wasn't
Whishaw?
forced.
Ben Winshaw.
Well, he's good. He did a good job. He and Jane did a good job.
Good on you, Ben.
Um,
Oh, fun fact, he also voices Paddington the bear.
oh, that's adorable.
That makes sense why he can do so well with his voice.
Yeah. Also, you almost skipped something else.
I'm sorry. I still have the banker part, and
You said the kite.
where they bring it up to the office.
Oh, continue. Sorry, you're not where I am. Continue.
Yeah, where they tear it
I thought you meant
apart.
like the end of the movie.
Oh no.
It's not a kite when it's the end. Anyway,
Yeah.
continue.
Jeez, sir.
Sorry, I got lost.
Where they bring the kite and realize the kite was the paper that they were looking for.
Because obviously, as an artist, I'm gonna doodle on my deeds.
I guess immature, and I guess he was immature. I just don't understand. Also, they found that in the first of the movie.
And he tried to throw it away.
No, I don't even think he would try to throw it away. Mary Poppins cleaned it all up, and he was panicking. The kid was gonna throw it away.
Oh yeah, because the kid used it to patch the kite.
Mm-hmm.
But why did he doodle on a deed of sale? Statement of
Did he think it was
shares,
a
whatever
blank
it was.
piece of paper?
I don't know. Because that wasn't the child. The child didn't do that. The grown-ass man did that.
And
that's what upsets me. Is like a grown-ass man doodled on a
good
statement
piece.
of shares.
Yeah, like an actual legal document. That's not just
Stupid.
Hey, I'll put this here and do whatever.
Dumb.
And confusion. Bank good or bad?
They don't know.
It's
They
like,
don't know.
there's just bad bankers and then
There's
there's good bankers.
There's bad people and then there's good people.
You can't just be like a blanket statement for a theme. I really honestly wish, although it wouldn't help the movie entirely, that Michael just left.
Just left the bank and gave them his house and stuff. I almost thought that would be a better ending. Him losing the house and them getting a fresh start.
Mm-hmm. At Jane's home and being together for a bit even.
Jane only has a flat. They would have to get something else. But that's just a real estate me coming out. I don't know. Like on one hand, you don't want them to lose their family home. And he says that that's where the tie to his wife is. But they do good about realizing. But his wife isn't in the home. She's in their heart.
Yeah. And he was
that good endearing moment.
He was completely prepared in that moment to be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And leave. And then
we see it on a kite.
Not even that. They said he wasn't going to take it, remember? And then he was still prepared to leave the bank itself. Because he couldn't get the shares because of the signature.
Yeah.
And he was going to leave. But then you know what happens, hon?
My honey shows up.
And then goes, there's a good banker.
He is 93 years old in this movie, I'm pretty sure. I might be a couple of years off. And gets up on that table and dances like that. And that's really him.
I know, I was surprised.
And he's really dancing.
I thought it was going to be like a CGI face on a body dancing.
It's really Dick Van Dyke. God, I love him. I love him so much. One of the only good things they did in the scene, yes, it was kind of a forced, nostalgic thing. But it's okay. You can force a nostalgic thing when it's a 93-year-old man who can get up on that table and dance like that.
To be fair, he did play the old banker in the first movie.
In the first one, too,
and it's technically his nephew, and they, I guess, look the same ish when they get older.
Yeah. I loved it.
I just wish it had this quote-unquote sad ending. Which
I agree.
I guess that would go against Mary Poppins' idea.
Yeah.
Ideology where she can make everyone happy.
But would it?
Because that's the reason why he comes into the room is because he says, well, I had a friend tell me. Then he winks at Mary. Because Mary was the one that brought him in. It wasn't
I don't think I realized that. I was just so ready to see him because I had peeked and figured out where he was at in the movie because I knew he was in the movie. I knew he had to show up then, so I was just waiting on my man.
I know him.
I love him. I've loved him since I was a wee tot.
But then it made the movie less complicated. Or, I guess, complex was the better word. Less complex.
It did. And it messed with the ending, but I don't know. It was a shit movie anyway. Might as well kill the ending and bring back Dick Van Dyke, you know? I would have liked it a lot less if Dick Van Dyke hadn't been back, so.
He could have been the balloon person.
We haven't even touched that.
Oh my gosh. What if he was, what's his name? What's Dick Van Dyke's original character's name? Was it Jimmy Sweet?
Bart?
Bert. I forgot his name entirely. Bert giving up balloons.
Oh my god, if they had walked up, but I mean, Bert. Still, yes, that would have been really cute too.
Because then
And
Bert
then
could
they
give
could have
Mary
been.
Poppins balloon at the end.
That would have been so cute. And they could have just eliminated that whole Angela Lansbury thing because what the frick was that?
And then he could have sung. Even just the little
Because
bit.
they were singing that last song together.
Yeah.
He could have sung. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That would have been so good. But also, let's touch on this. Angela Lansbury was passed up for the role of Mary Poppins in the original. So, and they tried to get Julie Andrews to come back for that role in this Mary Poppins. And she said no. So then, these shitty ass people go ask Angela Lansbury to do it. I think that's just a shitty move.
Yeah, and she really. What was it? What's her name? Julie
Andrews?
Julie Andrews just didn't want it because she didn't want to
Overshadow Emily Blunt.
And that role you can't really overshadow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. People would have went to see it just for that 2 seconds of Julie Andrews. And as horribly written as Emily Blunt's version of Mary Poppins is, nobody would have cared about her if they had Julie Andrews for 2 seconds.
I guess that would have been good then.
I don't know. I mean, in the moment, it would have been really cool because you'd be like, oh my god, Mary Poppins, like the real one, the good one. But then, like, I don't know. I feel like if you got out of the movie and sat on it and thought about it, you'd be like, damn, that's kind of really shitty what they did to Emily Blunt, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel that way anyway, so I don't know. They gave her a bad version of Mary to do. But.
I think they should have had Bert give him the money.
That would have been really cool.
Just been like a nice little bow. Then it could have been.
It would have been so cool because then Jane and Michael would have walked up and seen Bert. That would have been so cute.
You could have said Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. I love him so much. I kind of want to watch first one again now.
I have another question for you, honey. What's the theme of the movie?
I guess they try to accentuate on family.
Like there is
family over material things.
There's like families anyone. Is that what the whole balloon thing is like everyone? But then
I don't know. It seems like the running theme throughout the thing is like, oh, they've lost their mom. They're kind of disconnected as a family. They're gonna lose this thing that makes them think of their mom. And they're really upset about that, but then they have that heart to heart about mom's not in the material thing, she's in her heart, which makes me think that like they're trying to say that people mean more than material things.
Because I thought it was getting past grief, but I still was like, they're still sad. But I was like, they don't really can get past it. Also,
yeah,
it's a bit muddy.
Oh yeah. It's so scattered, I don't know what the frick the thing is.
Also, the idea that they, even though the original guy laughed till he died, the mean banker in the first one, he was just doing what he always thought was right. the new banker, they kind of treated him badly as well. Even at the very end with the balloon portion. It's like everyone happy and having a good time. Then
And he got a bad
ballooned.
balloon.
Just because he's the villain, quote quote.
Yeah.
And there's that one, and one more thing is that who was that black man?
Can't figure it out. Don't know. He kind of is dressed up like a milkman.
But like, was there one?
I don't know, but he was kind of dressed up like a milkman.
Because like they're all about to leave and saying bye to all their neighbors. This is the scene, and they're all just at the truck and all saying bye. There's the guy with the boathouse, and then there's the nurse, not the nurse, the maid lady.
Yeah, the cook.
The cook, she's there, and then the black guy,
the milkman.
the milkman.
I don't know. He's wearing a weird white coat and a hat, and he looks like a milkman.
And he's just smiling there, cheesy.
Just
he doesn't say anything.
I know. He shows up in the final scene too, doesn't he?
No, that's the only scene he's in.
I thought he was in the final scene
With the
balloons too.
He may have been, but I don't know why.
But still, up until they lose their house and are moving out, this man is unheard of.
He doesn't get like a sideline thing or like a song.
Nope.
He doesn't get anything. And he's not the bank black guy, because we're like, oh, because we first thought that was him and he was just being nice. But no, he's at the bank.
He's at the bank.
With the villain, Mr. Bank. And it's like, who are you?
He's the milkman.
That's mute.
He's the milkman.
But
I don't know why this bothers you so bad. He's a milkman.
Why doesn't he talk? He doesn't even say bye. He just goes, hey, yeah. Just smile.
Just waves at him.
So, I mean, all your notes. That's my
life. Love me some Dick Van Dyke, but this is a horrible movie. And that's my conclusion.
So, honey, on my little skelly thing, where are you putting? I just think it's very bad.
I was gonna say a solid bad.
Just a bad. Oh wow! I just don't think I'd ever want to sit through that and watch it again.
Yeah, the more I think about it, like it's not even something that I would endure just to
laugh at it.
Let my children watch it. You know, like it's a children's movie, and like most parents usually, you know, you just put a movie on for your kids, and you like sometimes you watch it with them, and sometimes you don't. I wouldn't even want to listen to it in the background. So I guess it's very bad.
Because it's not like a fun bad. It's kind of a boring bad.
It's just bland. It's horrible.
And that's what's so weird. It's like it's so colorful and it's doing so much.
But it's like your colors are so vibrant and amazing, and then like your sets are bad.
But there's no soul.
And then your plot is bad. Your musical scenes are bad.
It's just like
costume design. Y'all got it going on.
I think I got nominated.
That's cool. That's the only thing they did good.
So
costume design, they did good. Otherwise, no.
No.
So very bad.
I agree. We're on the same page. I think I accidentally talked you into making your score worse.
I think I talked myself into it.
Thanks, honey, for being on.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh.
We did it.
Well, do you want to advertise anything? Do you want to advertise anything? Your socials or anything? No.
No. No.
No. Okay, I won't put any of your links in.
I mean, you can.
No.
Yeah, like link my Instagram. Instagram. That's it.
It's just your Instagram.
I don't think these people are ready for my Twitter.
Well, now they know you have a Twitter.
I mean, there's a lot of Sarah Halls in this world, so.
True.
Have fun finding me.
So I'll link your Instagram and
You can link my Instagram.
I'll do
It's
that
all
then.
about you anyway.
Thanks for being my marketing.
Yep.
And thank you all for listening. Hope you've enjoyed our yelling about a magical movie. Say bye, Sarah.
Bye, Sarah.
No, we're not doing that stupid meme.
This has been